Hi, Sheevaun here, and I want to tell you a little bit about my story and why I do what I do. And the reason I do what I do is a couple of fold. It's a little bit long of a story, so I want to have you bear with me for a little bit and really listen, because it's all about transformation and journeys and things that really took me to places that I needed to go to learn the things that I do when I work with others. And where it really started was back when I was young. I was able to see and feel energy. However, my parents told me not to talk about that, and so I didn't. And then I moved to California and I met the love of my life. And he and I had this one instant thing. He asked me to marry him on the first date. Actually, we didn't even have a date, but when he first met me. And we really connected. And so we were together about 5 years, and he died in a motorcycle accident. And I would basically say I spent 5 years being in a coma after he left, and not really knowing about how to go through life, live life, what I really wanted. In that time, I got involved in marketing and pharmaceuticals, and I became an executive in the pharmaceutical industry. I loved it. I had a blast. It really got me hiding in my job and really working too hard. And it got me using the skills that I loved, which was people and creating. Even though I'm somewhat of an introvert, I still love people and I love creating. And through that and working too hard, used to work 16-hour days, and I got very sick and my blood got poisoned. And then what happened is they told me I needed to take these drugs. I don't believe in drugs. Never did. Never even wanted to take aspirin. Anybody gave me a prescription for a drug, I'd throw it in the trash as soon as I left the doctor's office. So when they told me I needed to take these drugs after I was misdiagnosed, I said, okay, I'm going to find somebody else. So I went and I found my own physician. When I found him, he was willing to work with me to find a solution from the inside out, which made sense to my brain. Everything comes from the inside out in order for the body to heal itself. Now, I didn't know anything about healing, didn't know anything really about medicine other than the pharmaceuticals that we were working with. And then we tried a whole bunch of things, and they worked, but they didn't solve the problem. And so we had to have surgery. And he performed the surgery. It was successful. I was back on a plane in 24 hours, and I was back in my job doing my thing. And that was great, except I don't like doctors. And I got blood poisoning from the inside part of the surgery and something that happened from not following up. And then what happened is I ended up in the emergency room after about 7 months and being told that, lady, listen, you're going to die if you don't take these drugs, and you're going to die if you don't stay here. And I said, I'll take the drugs. I promise I'll take them this time. You can infuse me with whatever you need to infuse me with, but I'll take them, and I'm going home, because I believe that people die in hospitals. Now, I had no basis for these things. These are just things I always innately understood. So I sat on my sofa for 2 months and started thinking about how this is all going to change and how it's going to work. I'd already had one wake-up call through the loss of my husband. I better get on it and wake myself up and find out what's going on and how to take charge of my own health. I never wanted to have a drug, and I never wanted to have surgery again, and I never wanted to be at the whim of somebody else's mistake. So that's when I started thinking about the past and how it really affected my husband's life. So when he was a young boy, his grandmother took him to the ocean, and the reason she took him to the ocean was he had gangrene in his leg. So he stayed there, played all day, went home, woke up the next day, and he didn't have gangrene. I remember that story when I was laying on the sofa, and I thought, okay, I have blood poisoning. So what am I going to do to get this stuff out of my system forever? And I booked a trip to Mexico, the cleanest place I could find in Mexico. And I decided I was sitting in the ocean for 2 weeks, and it was going to pull the stuff out of my system. That, along with a lot of thinking and mental work and realizing that there's an energy to everything, which I had no idea what that meant at the time, but knew that there was something that was in it for me. Came back, was all healed, life back on track, back at the pharmaceutical industry, doing my thing, and I took a class, an energy medicine class. Now, I was the only business person in the class. So everybody's talking about stuff they know about, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do with this stuff in my life? However, what I discovered was there are so many things that we are affected by energetically, day in and day out, that we don't recognize, realize, or have an attachment or an understanding of, that I had been doing that for many years, since the death of my husband. And once I learned empowering tools and techniques to understand the energies, feel the energies, disconnect the energies, clear the energies, resolve the energies, what happened was I felt empowered to be healthy the rest of my life. So it's been 15 years since I've learned this technique, and I haven't had any sickness since. Anytime I feel a thing coming on, I use those tools and techniques. I teach people how to use them. I work with them one-on-one with business owners. I work with them in situations that require somebody getting more energy or getting their health back. And because I came from business first, I have this innate understanding of how to put energy and business together to make a lot of money, to make good health, to make clarity become really apparent and show up so that the plate of the business is completely flourishing and forward moving. I hope you've learned a little bit about me. And my story. And if you want to know any more, I've got a lot to share. And there are so many tools and techniques that are in my toolbox that I'd love to give to you, and that you can use in every day of your life for greater success, more inner peace, better achievement, better leadership, more internal empowerment, better health, overall health, and the ability to be creative and clear thinking, and a great, great manifester. And to take it to the next level, yes, a little bit spiritual, because being an entrepreneur or being anywhere in life, you have a spiritual component. No matter what part of life that you're living in, no matter what religion, there is some sort of spiritual component, some sort of connection. Whether we know what it is or not doesn't matter. All I want to do is get you there to your desired results.